Hey guys, Justin here with My Wildlife, and I wanted to share with you guys this brooder setup that I came up with because I think it's brilliant. I got this 200-gallon oil tote for free from an oil depot. It was empty and they had to get rid of it, so they gave it to me for free. You just gotta ask nice. I then took the plastic bladder out of the cage and turned the cage into firewood storage. Then I'm left with this empty tote, which I use for a brooder. So first things first, I cut out the side of it and then I pressure wash the inside to get rid of all the oil residue. Because it is made of plastic, the bottom is waterproof. It's easy to clean. It has a drain on the one side and it holds heat quite well. I put a big screen door on it just to help cool it down so it doesn't get too hot, but because it gives such a large area for these little ducklings, also works for chickens, but for these ducklings to go cool down in the corners, they can go cool down or come huddle under the light. So speaking of this light, I know that the lights are a fire risk, and so I'm doing everything I can to make it safe. They do make various heat pads that work better, but this is what I got. So what I did is I put a ratchet strap on there and I zip tied it. So you'll see the hook goes through that hook and there's a zip tie wrapped around to snugly and securely secure that. The reason I use the ratchet strap, which then comes through the top hole, I've got an electric wire, enjoying my deer pelts, but I have the electric plugged in and then I have the ratchet strap coming over here. I just secured it to this piece of the bench I have. But again, I put it in through here, but also wrapped around. The nice thing about using a ratchet strap for this, as they get bigger, you're gonna wanna lift that light higher. While they're little, you want it lower. So I can just adjust the ratchet strap to compensate for where I want that heat to be. And you can see while I'm not all up in their face, how much they're enjoying just running around using this space. I currently have 17 ducklings in this tote. It's a 4 foot by 4 foot space, gives them lots of room to move around. And because I got the tote for free, you can make any number of these. Honestly, all in all, I'm in this for $20. I used some scrap wood I had lying around, but that's the only reason it's not plumb. But check out this one where I used good lumber. And I'm using that one as a rabbit tote. But speaking of rabbit tote, you only need the brooder for about a month, maybe 2 tops of the year. The rest of the year, it can be used as alternative animal storage, like I'm using for temporary rabbit housing or grow out rabbit housing. I mentioned I'm in it for $20, and that's the hardware. I bought a hardware kit for $20 that came with the hinges, the handle, and the lock. If I were to factor this in, it required 2 2x4s, 2 8-foot 2x4s to frame this out. I sandwiched the plastic all the way around, so 2 2x4s going around. And just because I was using scrap lumber, I added an extra 3rd 2x4 across the top and bottom just to square that off. But yeah, cheap, quick, and easy. These totes often come with plastic lids here. And so if your brooder is going to be outside, you would just want that lid there and just cut a hole for your strap or run it across the door. Otherwise, this is a weatherproof shelter. You don't need a roof. You don't need to keep it indoors. It can go outdoors if your climate is warm enough. Now, unfortunately for me, my climate is not warm enough. So I've got them inside a heated warehouse. But this setup is so much nicer. It's easier to clean, keeps the heat in, and gives them lots of space. My old setup was just a plywood box with some metal screening down the sides. It was a pain to clean out, to bend over to try to scrape out. This here, I can just put all of my little birds into a separate tote or box to hold them for a few minutes while I just take the things out and scrape it clean, put fresh bedding in, put them back in. It is super easy to keep this clean. I mentioned that these totes have a drain, so you can literally just pour a bunch of water in and let it drain out the bottom and then just towel dry it when you're done. So yeah, like I said, you can just adjust the height of the light by adjusting your ratchet strap, which is perfect. I'm personally using a feeder tray with water in it, a paint tray with food in it, a separate food dish, and a separate waterer, giving these guys lots of options and room to move around without competing for food or water. And so if you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, plans for the weekend, drop a comment in the comment section, like and subscribe for some more homesteading DIY tips.